distinguished guests, colleagues and friends, good morning, and welcome to Beijing. I must say that crisis or no crisis, this is a lovely time of year to be in this city. When we decided last spring that we should host the 2009 summit in Beijing, I, for one, thought it was a good idea. That was before Lehman, Freddie, Fannie had turned a consumer crisis into a banking crisis of epidemic proportions. I say epidemic rather than pandemic, which has other connotations at the moment. Subsequently, the pressures faced by vulnerable nations such as Iceland then turned the banking crisis into a sovereign crisis of far-reaching global implications. It soon became clear that the United States would play a pivotal role in any recovery in the global economy. And many people around the world take comfort from the signs of resilience that have emerged in recent weeks. I have to say that I, for one, am only cautiously optimistic that the so-called green shoots are sustainable at present. But this crisis has emphasized how critically the continuing evolution of the US-China relationship will define the future of the world's banking and economic systems. In that context, with the benefit of hindsight, choosing to hold this meeting in Beijing was quite forward-looking. This year, I am in my 42nd year in Asia and the Middle East, and I continue to track developments in Asia from Korea to the Middle East, from Singapore to China, with a great deal of personal and professional involvement. Although I've been directly involved with China for a good number of those years, it was really from 1997 onwards that the relationships became seriously intense as the markets opened to new opportunities. Those of you in the audience who can remember China of the 1960s and 1970s and contrast that with where it is today will appreciate the depth of my admiration for this immense country that has come so fast, so far. Indeed, recent events have provided ample evidence of China's continuing importance and growth. The Basel Committee on Banking Supervision, long dominated by Western Europe and America, took the huge step of expanding membership to 7 new nations. 4 of those nations are in Asia: Australia, India, Korea, and, of course, China. More of Asia at the top table can only be positive. You know, this is a unique opportunity for my colleagues in Asia to perhaps learn from the mistakes of others. Perhaps if the West had paid attention to the Asia of the 1990s, when this region was creating its own problems with easy credit and poor underwriting, then today's crisis might not have happened or might not have been so deep. Fortunately, we have Chairman Liu Ming-kang with us today, who will be delivering our opening keynote address. He will play the leading role in China's new responsibilities in the global banking system. And since taking up his post at the CBRC, Chairman Liu has driven the remarkable growth and evolution of banking in China and achieved the results that we see today. He has proven himself to be an enlightened and tireless enemy of complacency and short-term myopic strategies. This pressing of the reset button has provided us with a timely wake-up call and gives us an opportunity to pause and remember our core values. The question then is, how durable is this sea change in heart and minds that we see? Well, this crisis of a generation provide new wisdom that will last a generation or more? Or will the very next cycle of economic and stock market boom wash away these rediscovered values and take us back to the very flawed environment of the last decade that spawned today's crisis? That's why I'm looking forward to hearing President Jeffrey Lacker's take on the role of regulation and the recent turn of events in the global financial system. President Lacker, as a prominent voting member of the FOMC, is one of the most influential regulators in the US. He's spent 20 years in the Federal Reserve, yet his voting record would suggest that he's very much his own man. Mr. Lacker brings to us his very clear view about where the current conversation in his country is steering us in terms of the reshaping of the global financial system over the next few years. One of the most important features of the Asian Banker Summit is its ability to bring together some of the best and most experienced banking professionals in the world, both Western and Asian, to strengthen and develop our industry by sharing experiences and by learning from each other. This year we have chosen to focus on the theme of shaped by the markets, an industry redefined. For months now, the world's attention has been fixed on the shocks to the global financial system, shocks that have come one after the other in quick and surprising succession. But the roots of these seemingly complex problems are actually basic and fundamental. The speed with which developments unfolded may have been surprising, but none of us should be really surprised that shoddy lending standards and the dereliction of fundamental professional responsibilities will always lead to disaster. The current crisis brings home the point that governance and integrity has, is, and will always be the cornerstones of a strong financial system. If an unchecked free market cannot be trusted to guarantee this integrity, then we need to rethink what kind of checks and balances can, without extinguishing the spark of productive and benign innovation. And just to close, I would like to congratulate the organizing team for doing an outstanding job on the quality of the speakers you will be hearing from during the risk management, the BAF financial institutions, and technology conferences at this summit. I'm also grateful to my fellow members of the advisory committee for their participation in the selection of the winners of the Achievement Awards. And I would like to thank our Chinese hosts for their tremendous support of this program. You know, there is a perception that we learn a lot in the short term from crises like this. We learn a little in the medium term, and in the long term, we forget everything. I hope this time I will be proven wrong. And as I said earlier, I am cautiously optimistic, but particularly optimistic about Asia. I'm optimistic because Asia is healthier than ever before. I'm optimistic because of the region's human and financial resources, and because of its unsatisfied appetite for social and infrastructural improvement. I am sure that today the ensuing debates will be interesting and lively, and I wish you all a successful meeting. Thank you.